appreciate. David Cameron shouldn't have been surprised to be asked about this issue. This is actually Jamaican government policy. It's been voted on to follow this campaign by the MPs, and indeed across the Caribbean, the CARICOM group have also unanimously decided that this is something that they should pursue, yes.
Sums of money we're talking about here? I mean, who would decide?
Well, lots of really sort of quite crazy figures have been bandied around. A historian worked out that if the slaves had been paid properly and add interest to that, Britain owes the Caribbean something like £7.5 trillion. And Jamaica itself, I think it's £2.3 trillion. However, I don't really believe that the Caribbean are expecting to get this money. And I also don't believe that they really want to go down the course of going to the international court in order to get legal redress. And it's very noticeable, what they've been asking for isn't really this money. What they're asking for is a dialogue with Cameron and with the British government to move forward. What they want to do, they want a process of renewal and rehabilitation for Caribbean people, and they want Britain to, as they put it, undo the terrible mess left by slavery and by imperialism.
Yeah, I mean, there's another side to this argument, isn't there, obviously, which is it was a terrible mess, yes, but it was also a terrible mess that was partly largely cleared up through the enforcement of a policy which was British in its origin and then enforced by the Royal Navy. Other people will say, well, hang on a minute, certain families may have got really wealthy on the back of cotton and sugar and all the rest of it. Many families didn't, so why should we as taxpayers cough up? And there'll be other people who say, well, actually, slave trading was also something that happened in North Africa. Why don't you tap them for some cash as well?
Yeah, I think what's been surprising is the investigation that's been done into the slavery compensation. There's £2 million that was paid at abolition to slave owners. And this is, of course, where the information about Cameron's family comes from. But what's really striking about that is how slave owning wasn't just the elite. It actually went all the way through the most layers of society, including sort of poor widows living in Scotland, might have inherited some slaves in Jamaica. And the other thing that I think has to be appreciated is that slavery wasn't just a sort of unfortunate historical accident. It was absolutely the foundation of our national wealth. And huge amounts of money came into this country. Shipping and insurance and banking, all of these things were started
but where
and
do you
dependent on slavery.
this was, I mean, unlike in America where this is more raw because it was more recent. This is something that happened, a couple of hundred years ago. Where is the statute of limitations? Where do you draw the line? What's to stop? I don't know, I'm being rather silly about this, but what's to stop, for instance, Saxon families saying, well, let's sue the French government for the Norman invasion and the enclosure of our land?
Yeah, this is the sort of, reductio ad absurdum argument that we hear a lot. I think what's important is that the effects of slavery are, according to the campaigners, still being felt in the Caribbean. And the benefits of slavery and sugar are still being enjoyed by us here today in Britain, which I think makes it a different case to the Saxons or us suing the Romans for invading us or anything like that.
Interesting. Matthew Parker, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for coming in. Thanks a lot.